And now with AI, it's gone to 2%, could go to 4 or 8%. So we've got a real driver of demand.
The House Ethics Committee report about its investigation into former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz could have been released as soon as today. That's in doubt now that he's resigned as President-elect Trump's Attorney General nominee. Incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune tells Fox he expects the report will come out one way or another.
These confirmation hearings, they are fairly comprehensive in terms of the vetting process that nominees go through.
The report has to do with alleged sexual misconduct with a 17-year-old girl, which Gaetz denies. President Biden meets today with the leaders of Japan, South Korea, and Peru in an economic summit in Peru. His third ever in-person meeting with China's President Xi is tomorrow. There's a serious threat of flooding and mudslides from Tropical Storm Sarah in Central America is expected to break up before reaching the Gulf of Mexico and Florida. There could be some rain from what's left of the storm in the middle of next week, but nothing like what Central America's getting. America's listening to Fox News.
I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're thinking about what gift to get the firearms enthusiast that may be on your list this year, I highly recommend. I love this company. The rifles, the shotguns, the revolvers made right here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they've got 200 models to choose from, a wide variety of calibers and styles and prices, and you cannot go wrong with any of them. They're a great company. The easiest way to check out Henry's Firearms is to get a copy of their free holiday gift guide. Just go to their website. It's henryusa.com. Click on the catalog button in the top right-hand corner. They will mail the gift guide and a few decals, and it won't cost you a penny. So if you want to put something made in America under your Christmas tree, make sure you order the free gift guide and get free decals from Henry USA today. That's henryusa.com for a free gift guide and decals. henryusa.com. You're going to love this company. I love this company.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. We made it to Friday. Thank God it is Friday. How is everybody feeling this morning? Like it's Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God it's Friday.
Are you worn down, Lowe's?
It's just a Friday.
Okay. Well, I feel better, but shall we?
I mean, I'll get more excited as we get closer to 10 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah. Like right now, I still got the helmet on, not looking at the finish line.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it there. I'm impressed with Joe Virgin River's sweatshirt.
I know he's rocking
that's something I would have worn in the 1980s in like an elementary school picture.
Dude, I love it.
It's old school Pacers sweatshirt.
I've been seeing a lot with the Braves stuff too. If you, as I pass the Threads store coming in every morning, they've got the old 80s logo for the Braves that they're using a lot. The one that I had on my pennants on my wall when I was a kid. You know, it's before they brought back the Tomahawk in 87, I believe. In fact, check me on that. But I believe it was 87 when they brought the Tomahawk back. So it was probably from, I don't know, we'll say 79 to about 87, somewhere around there. And it's just a different script. It's kind of similar, but not exact. But it's so good, and it's so nostalgic for me. I guess for Joey.
The only thing he's missing is Zubaz.
Yes.
Like if he had Zubaz pants, he would
that'd
be
awesome.
perfect.
Are those the breakaway ones that would?
No, they're the ones that look like cheetah colored.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're the NFL ones that a lot of the players wore. A lot of Dolphins had them for sure because they're weird.
A lot of Bills fans still wear them.
Still wear them.
Zubaz were...
Tiger, these are tiger stripes.
Yeah.
These are awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was the 80s. That was 80s, early 90s NFL look.
Yeah, I don't remember those.
Oh, you'd see them all the time.
I don't know how I missed them.
When I got
Guys worked out a lot in those.
Yes, it was a big gym thing. I remember getting the NFL Shop magazines back in the day before you could go online, and that was like the cover of the magazine were like, men and women in Bengals colored ones and Dolphin and Bills. Yeah, those were the three big ones for some reason. The Jets ones, nobody ever really wore them. I guess green and white was kind of boring compared to some of the other colors.
Well, with like the orange and
whatever
all
teal.
What all those other colors. I guess it's because I didn't grow up watching the NFL much. Nobody in my family really watched the NFL.
Well, you run a ship.
Well, no, that's right. Well, that was in the middle 90s, but into the late 90s and early 2000s. But I'm just saying, like, everybody
you didn't have a TV.
we did.
They kept him under the skirting.
No,
That's right.
No,
Yeah.
No, everybody watched college football. Sunday was just kind of like a ho-hum because everybody was going to church.
It would be like, watch Dad spit tobacco on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's well, look.
Yeah.
And watch the Georgia
So
Bulldogs
go sit
play.
out in the stew. Me and Paul got something to do in here.
I love it. But yeah, I just don't remember them. Zubaz.
So yeah, Zubaz. That would fit
That would be
perfectly
perfect.
with what Joe Virgin River has with
Yeah,
his
some
throwback
blue
sweatshirt.
and yellow.
Blue and yellow ones.
Yeah. A little white in
No,
there. You got to throw
Joey.
some in there.
Don't wear those. I love your throwback. These are awful. These are terrible.
I think I could rock them.
Yeah,
I know you could.
Yeah. Yes,
Especially with that funky mustache.
yes, that's right. It'd go right. It seems like that would go. They go
Yeah.
hand in hand, man. It's like
You need
they
a
look for each
headband,
other.
though.
Yes, you do. Like an 80s style
Yeah.
headband.
At least a visor.
But it can't be like the wide headband.
No, it's got to be the headband. Yeah.
No,
it's got to be the thin one.
The thin one,
Yeah,
right?
oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like the quarterback for the
Jim McMahon.
Yes.
Yes.
Jim McMahon always wore the thin headband. I always loved that thing. And I remember having one as a kid, and you put it on, and I was like, I look stupid.
Oh, I still have one.
How does he pull it off?
You know what's funny? It's horrible on bald people. Like, it looks just
Yes.
so dumb. There's
I
no
agree.
reason for it,
I
but
agree.
it's so handy with bald people because
Yeah, it blocks the sweat.
well, it blocks. Yeah, exactly. From coming down my eyes, because the top of my head sweats more than I guess that's where you release
Yeah,
most of
yeah,
it. So
for sure.
it sweats more than anything else. So I have my red and white Adidas one.
That's
I can
awesome.
never wear it though, and I love it.
I know.
But I wear it around the house when I'm like cleaning and doing stuff, and it's hot.
Oh, my gosh.
I look
Yeah.
like an idiot.
Oh, it's great, man. I think it's fantastic. I think you should wear it in here one day.
So
Okay,
this is
Monday.
a problem, by the way, that Zubaz does have a regular website. So I guess
They're back,
survived. Well, but here's the issue. They have still NFL-sanctioned regular pants, but they're nowhere near as crazy anymore.
They just look like sweat bridges.
What I'm saying ultimately is when you were really into that girl because she was crazy,
Yeah.
you need to stick with crazy. Because
Yeah.
these look like regular NFL pants.
I mean,
it's
there's
nothing compared.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this picture.
Yeah, that's the way.
I mean, goodness gracious.
And that's when men wear the.
It's Dan Marino.
I know.
So in those days too, that was the male cutoff shirt days. So a lot of the guys, we had our football jerseys when I was playing football. We'd cut them like short, and so that's what guys would wear to school, like on the football team. And that's when I decided I really don't want to. I'm gonna go play hockey sometime. I don't want to do this anymore.
These pants aren't burning down your house if you cheat on them.
No.
All
right?
Crazy girl
That's what
will.
I'm saying.
Yeah, Laura
Crazy
will.
girl. Yeah, absolutely. Which I would understand.
I'd help her.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be such a jerk move. But yeah, those are fantastic, man. Oh, wow. I just saw an exchange of fists over there on Los's computer, and it looks like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson there.
I don't mean to ruin the night's action because
this is-
tonight you get the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
That's part of my headlines. It's so big.
Keep in mind, all right, Tyson's going to make $20 million. Jake Paul is going to make probably about double that. It's part of his production team. But you are walking into a production.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll throw fists, they'll do
It's
their
TV.
thing, and then Jake Paul will win just like he always does with these fights that he is arranged. This is television.
Okay, see,
Listen to me.
It's Netflix.
Why did you just do that to me?
I
I've been
think it's-
all night ready. I don't believe you. Tyson is not going to play this game.
God,
Tyson's going to knock him out in 91 seconds.
I had planned to watch
Like the
this.
old days. Me too. I'm watching.
Had.
Oh, I'll watch. Yeah.
No, I had.
Yeah. What
Now knowing that,
Oh,
I
now
got
that Carlos
no reason
really-
to watch it.
Carlos making that up. He's-
Jake Paul's
he's full of
production
misinformation.
team. Why do you think that he continues? Remember, this is a guy who built his celebrity through YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
And then it turned into, all right, now I'm going to remake myself because I can't really be like a 26, 27-year-old guy on YouTube trying to do what I'm doing. Instead, now it turns into, well, now I'm going to get into the fight game. And he's got skill.
Yeah, a little bit.
No
Yeah.
lie. Like
But
he's
not
got,
beating Mike Tyson's skill.
or what has gone on is he has fought all of these names that are way past their prime, and they continue to somehow just like, oops, they went down.
Yeah.
That sounds like WWE.
Yeah, it does. I'm not buying it. I think Carlos is lying to us. This is all misinformation by a white
gonna text
extremist.
me
You're
tonight.
a white extremist.
You're going to text me tonight at like midnight, and you're going to go, Yeah.
You stole this election.
Saw that, how that went.
Oh, man. Well, I got to find something else to do. Cause
I'm watching it like I am going to ignore
you watch
Carlos.
it. It's still entertaining.
I'm going to ignore Carlos.
No, it's not.
I've been waiting for
WWE's
this.
not entertaining. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not.
Oh, don't you say that. There's going to be
Well,
people who are going to show up here
I
with
know.
pitchforks.
I know. To me, okay, so for me, WWE's not entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was great. I loved it. Even in my early 20s when I was in the Navy, I remember guys watching it, and I watched it a little bit with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and, you know.
Oh, I loved it.
What was his? Was his you guys better call somebody? No, that was Road Dogg. That was the
Yeah,
Road Dogg.
that-
Jesse James.
Yeah.
From the Armstrong line of family fighters and wrestlers. But
Yeah, it
Anyway.
was Austin 316.
Yeah, but he
was
didn't
his-
slam-
and
but
then
I
he'd
feel like he
say,
had some
he'd
sort of
slam
saying.
a beer, and I can't remember now. Gosh.
okay, we'll have to look it up. Anyway, so the thing is, like, I enjoyed it when I was a kid because I wasn't to the point where I believed that it was fake. I kind of had it in the back of my head, but I just wouldn't let myself believe it. And now, if this fight is already fixed and fake, I just have no desire. Like, there's so much AstroTurf in the world. We just went through a whole election cycle with somebody that was completely AstroTurf. That's the last thing I want is more of that. So I'll see the highlights on Twitter, and I'll probably listen to rock and roll music or something.
Not me. I'm watching it.
It's also going to start, like, probably after midnight.
More
yeah.
likely.
So I won't be up for that anyway.
Yeah,
Come on. I wouldn't
Is
be
there
up
an
for that anyway.
undercard?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, yeah.
Are those real?
Because it begins at 8 on
With
Netflix.
real fights.
Are
Yeah.
those real fights? You think the undercard those?
I would imagine so.
Okay.
I mean, this is a sanctioned event, so there's some. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's sanctioned, so.
Joey, what do you think about this?
I was invited to go watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I don't
Okay.
care.
Okay.
It's how old's Mike Tyson?
58.
I like Iron Mike.
When
But he was a big part of my
I do
childhood.
too.
Yeah.
Because my dad used to tell me stories about this amazing guy, and I'm like, sounds
before
great.
you were born, it was an event.
It was.
No matter where he was fighting.
always got the fights.
Like all the dads would go watching, and consequently, we would then be watching. I still remember my dad making it a point to watch a fight with him. And it was over in something like 29 seconds, and everyone looking around the room like, well, what the hell do we do
it's
now?
horrible.
Yeah. We paid like $58, and then it was a lot of money.
So growing up, my grandparents lived in Atlantic City. So, and my grandfather spent everything he had there, and so did my grandmother. So they had all those free comps, you go get lobster for free, but they were completely broke at this point. But we get into all the Tyson fights, and he got to know Tommy Frazier and a bunch of other guys, and Smoking Joe, Frazier, all of the fighters that were out there at the time, George Foreman. And we were sitting at a table one day, and they came over, and they're like, here you go. And they called my grandfather Sweet Lou. And they'd be like, Sweet Lou, here's some tickets for the Tyson fight tonight. It was a Tyson Spinks fight. And that was 91 seconds. And my uncle at that time, he's like, all right, I'm going to go grab another drink right before this fight. The fight started, came back, and the drink was gone. So, yeah, I was lucky enough to go see 2 Tyson's fights. But if you blinked, it was over, during his time. And at that time, he's 30 years old. Jake Paul hadn't even been born yet.
No kidding, man. Holy cow.
Oh, man.
Big times, the Tyson fight, which like I said.
I know it's not going to be the same as those,
it's not.
but
I'm out.
I don't like that this has been ruined for me because I've been hyped up about this all morning up until now.
I don't know that I was hyped up per se, but I was interested.
Yeah.
But yeah, my interest. And the fact that it's going to be at midnight, which Joe is exactly right. Pardon me, those fights always do that, and I'm not.
I also hung up on Mike Tyson, thinking that it was someone fake. I was working over at one of the old stations at 790 The Zone, and Jamal Anderson, I did a show with him for football, obviously, but Jamal Anderson's father was Mike Tyson's bodyguard. So no one told me he might be calling in a Jamal show, and I picked up, and he was like, hey, this is Mike Tyson. And I'm like, yeah, right. That was a good one, though, and hung up. And then Jamal, says in my ear, hey, if Mike Tyson calls, and I'm like, are you kidding right now? I thought it was a joke. I was afraid I was going to get my butt kicked down.
I'm sure. Last night, big night at the over at Motor Cars of Atlanta, which is the dealership with all the Lamborghinis and what else is over there? Lotus.
Oh, you'll get the Rolls Royces and the McLarens.
Yeah, all of them. It's a cool place, even if you're just into cars. But we had a casino night there last night. A small business casino night, and Went out there, a fun time, and you're out there playing with funny money. It's great because you're playing with money that doesn't matter. So you're gambling, $5,000 on the pass line when you're playing craps,
Yeah.
like it's nobody's business, And it was so much fun. We did have a really good time. I'll tell you, Hunter from our sales department went on about a 35-minute run on the craps table and was winning left and right. People were leaving with stacks of chips. I'm telling you.
Good for Hunter.
Dude, I've never seen. And it's so funny because he was like, I'm a rock star. Like, he had a few in him. Like, he was talking about how great he was. Like, he was like, I'm the greatest of all. Like,
I'm good for Hunter because he's kind of treated as like the kid brother of the entire sales staff.
It really is, yeah.
But it's all fake. You know what I mean? It's like the Mike Tyson fight. I mean, like, you're on this hot run and it's fun. But, I mean, it ain't real, man.
So he didn't like get too hyped up and then just start throwing money at the people and try to get in one of those cars, did he?
No,
Dang it. That would have been way better.
No, those are
drive
downstairs
out
on
right through the
floor.
glass.
We're in their cool entertainment space, but yeah, it was. Los, how did you do?
That was fine. I mean, I ended up going over to the Texas Hold'em table, and there were 4 or 5 guys. They were learning how to play Texas Hold'em.
So it slowed things down a little bit.
So I was sitting there, like, I sat down and posted big blind. I got the dealer who's looking at me. He's like, that's your big blind. I'm like, yeah. And then when basically the option would come around to me, I would like, yeah, check the option. And everybody would look at me like, what does he mean by that?
Yeah, right.
So I was like,
learning.
Everyone was learning. And so I sat down for a few hands, and after that I went and played some blackjack. And so it was a good time. Like, it's a ton of fun if you have a small business and you're looking to get your schedule going as far as advertising, and you want to be with this station and with our sister station. It's a good way to get your foot in the door.
Absolutely.
And
It's
get
a
to
lot
know
of fun.
everybody.
We were kind of winding down, and my wife was playing blackjack with our sales manager, Colin Wheat, and Mike Aron, our engineer. And she knew we were getting ready to go, so she just laid it all on the line. And she had, like, I don't know, $10,000 in chips or whatever. And of course she hit. She's got more, and she's just handing it out, man. Like, it's just funny.
Well, so I was playing on a table, and Joe Virgin River was around, and at one point I put $10,000 chip, and I was like, you know what, I want to get this kind of going and over with. And I put $20,000, and the dealer looks at me and goes, it's a $10,000 limit. It's like, this is not real money.
It's not real.
I was like, come on, man.
Come on.
I was like, I work here. I'm not. It's like I'm gonna go buy more tickets to go win more stuff. And that was the other fun of the ending. The watching all the sales guys be told, yeah, I know you have a bunch of chips. You can't go buy a bunch of tickets to then try and win stuff. This is for the people that are actually taking part in this event.
Right. Yeah.
You want to talk about being bitter Betties, man?
Oh, my
What do you mean I can't win anything? Well, this is not a Christmas party.
Yeah, you freaking weirdo. Anyway, they're fun times. It's always fun times out there. Donald Trump, I think we've all known that loyalty is so very important to Donald Trump. I want to play you a cut from 1992 where he said, I kind of want to lose it all just to see who's with me, who's really with me.
Then how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not
I
loyal?
tell you what.
Yeah.
Boy, did he.
And, I mean, because you think about it, the coup, the lawfare, the assassination. I mean, my man was on the ropes.
Yeah.
I mean, people are saying this is the greatest political comeback of all time. And now he's rewarding that loyalty with some of his picks. He's bringing people in that have been loyal to him. And look, I think loyalty is important too.
Yeah, I think loyalty is important to a certain degree, of course. And when someone is there for you, you're going to make sure that, hey, I'm going to be there for you when you need me as well. And what has happened to Donald Trump over the past, I don't know, maybe now 10 years, because that's how long it's been, almost 10 years when he came down that escalator in 2015. He's been attacked at every level only because he wanted to root out bureaucracy. And they knew it. They knew it from the beginning, and they have tried so hard. And the people that stood by his side side that went to jail for him, even though they didn't do anything wrong, that lawfare was used against them, the ones that are still there, of course they're going to be rewarded.
Look at why so much of the core is his family. Those are the people that he knows, absolute loyalty. And those of you who have stood with him during this process over the last 4 years and longer, you're getting rewarded now. So, yeah, he's right. It's like when you're down and out, you're going to find out who's loyal.
Those folks who are questioning some of the Trump appointments to this point, man, they have really zeroed in on Pete Hegseth. Now, veterans love him. And the people in the swamp, they hate him. They're losing their minds. We'll hit that after headlines. Next on Extra 106.3.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
There are crazies on the road. Who knows where they're all going, but if one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant. He is the lawyer that used to work for the insurance company. The team at Van Sant Law knows who to call, what to say, and will make sure you get what you deserve and what the insurance company doesn't want to pay for. They have your best interest at heart and will take care of everything. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid. My advice, save Van Sant Law in your phone. Today, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com.
Don't miss the Atlanta Mushroom Festival, Sunday, November 17th at Park Tavern in Piedmont Park. Beginning at 12 noon and ending at 7 p.m., this dog and family-friendly event features educational speakers, live music, and over 30 mushroom-themed vendors. Early bird tickets are only $10, which directly supports the nonprofit festival. For more information, visit AtlantaMushroomFestival.com or Atlanta Mushroom Festival on all social platforms.
Are you the type of consumer that likes to do your research before you choose a company? Well, then you need to join Dan Watkins, Chris Lolamy, and myself, Jim Niarchos, every Saturday morning at 9 for the All Four Seasons Home Show. We only vet local businesses with a proven history of integrity, competence, and solid customer service. The All Four Seasons Home Show helps you make a good consumer decision, save money, and not get ripped off. You can also follow our podcasts on Apple, Google, and Spotify. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Saturday mornings at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the Podcast Park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
You want to get better at shooting without spending money on ammo or taking your valuable time at the range? Get yourself a Mantis X. 94% of shooters improve within 20 minutes of using Mantis X. I'm a good shot, and I improved dramatically in 20 minutes. The Mantis X is an at-home training system that you use with your own gun to do dry fire practice. It's very high-tech, but it's simple to use, and it will give you real-time feedback on your shooting technique. You attach it to your gun, kind of like a weapon light. You download the easy-to-use app, and you follow the instructions. That's it. You can use it at home, dry firing, or at the range with bullets in your gun if you want to spend that money. The U.S. Marines, Army, Special Forces all use Mantis X, and that's part of what makes them the most effective force in the world. I use Mantis X because I'm a gun owner, and I need to be able to hit my target in an emergency. Mantis X. You'll be shocked at how quickly you improve. MantisX.com. That's MantisX.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, November 15th. President-elect Donald Trump has picked former U.S. Rep and friend of the show, Doug Collins, to join his cabinet as the head of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Collins, an Air Force veteran and chaplain in the U.S. Air Force Reserve, served a tour in Iraq where he administered to young soldiers coping with the horrors of war. Collins wrote on X that he was honored to accept President Trump's nomination. A U.S. Department of Justice investigation found that Fulton County is violating the civil rights of the people housed at the county's jail by allowing abhorrent and unconstitutional conditions. The 97-page report detailed the conditions after 16 months of studying the county prison. In the report, the DOJ stated that if local officials do not address their concerns within 49 days, they could sue to force changes. And in sports, it's been almost 20 years since Mike Tyson has stepped into the ring to compete in a sanctioned fight. The 58-year-old former heavyweight champ will do so tonight when he takes on 28-year-old Jake Paul in Arlington, Texas. The 8-round heavyweight bout will be broadcast on Netflix beginning at 8 p.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 1063.
They're melting down. At least a lot of people are melting down. I guess not everybody, but a lot of people are melting down over Matt Gaetz and the nomination for AG. And I can't get enough of it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I don't know what the ultimate plan is, but whatever it is, I do believe Donald Trump has thought this out well. And Matt Gaetz is a no-nonsense guy. He is on the side of America and Americans. And that's what it takes for me.
Look, when Paul Whelan says, I can't imagine a worse pick for Attorney General than Matt Gaetz, sign me up. When they say this is a guy who's never worked in the federal government and not been a part of the bureaucracy and never been a federal prosecutor, sign me up. This is exactly the guy we want. This is a guy who, number one, doesn't take any money from any other lobbyists or any other companies to do his job. He's there for the American people. He's a bulldog, and he is not afraid, much like Carlos, to say what needs to be said.
Andy McCabe over on CNN says Matt Gaetz is obviously wholly unqualified for this job. He's someone, I mean, quite frankly, that couldn't get hired by the FBI if he ever had interest in that, which I'm sure he never was, but probably couldn't qualify for a clearance. Like, what a meandering thing to say.
This is delusion.
I mean, these people are melting down, Los.
We are 10 days removed, and we're now seeing the fallout of this broke people. And the more that this administration continues to add people to it, the further the breaking occurs. We've now gotten to the point where they haven't gotten through the election yet. They're still dealing with that. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to win Pennsylvania. Beyond that, now their newest thing is, well, I have a problem with the terms of service of X, of Twitter, so I'm leaving now.
Don Lemon.
So they're leaving in part because they can't handle the fact that they got their butts kicked in an election.
And they have to take it, and they have to get those punches coming from people that they don't love, don't know, and don't respect.
So they're now all looking for, like, where do I go hide out?
Yeah.
This is what they've transitioned to. And now
Joy Reid's added her name to the list, too, this morning.
They will be sniping from these weird places, these little troll areas of the internet. I'm like, if your points were so good, you'd be fine on X. All right? If your points were so good,
or on
you'd be fine on network television.
Yeah. Look, this is a bulldog that we need in there. And I think John Thune is part of the reason why Donald Trump has offered and said, hey, you've got my support, because we need to make sure that we fundamentally and get the time to go ahead and get our appointments done so we can start working right away to save this country for the American people. Matt Gaetz is one of those people. They could say whatever they want. They could talk about the ridiculous, trumped-up accusations. But if I want somebody who is going to go into the Department of Justice and be the attorney general that we need in this country, it's someone like Matt Gaetz. Now, they're going to play the games. Don't think this is going to end. They're going to, especially the Democrats on the Senate side, this is just him to get back at his political opponents. They're going after all of his people. This is exactly the Nazi and the fascist and authoritarian appointment that they're going for. No, this is about returning everything to the American people.
When you tell me, well, this is a terrible pick, look at how ridiculous this pick is, that just confirms it for me that much harder. The moment it hit the internet, I texted you guys saying the left is losing their minds. Matt Gaetz is the pick.
Yeah.
And one of the first people that I saw was Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, that was great.
Jerry Rivers losing his mind.
Gosh.
And as soon as I saw that, I knew you've hit the nail on the head with this pick. When they start to go crazy, when John Bolton is like, well, that's a terrible pick.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly what I needed. That's exactly who I needed to say that was a terrible pick.
No, he said it's the worst nomination.
Oh, yeah, the worst nomination ever. Great.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm like, yep, go ahead, nominate him
Don't
now.
y'all think this is Trump drawing a line in the sand a bit, saying, you just, meaning the American people, just gave me a mandate, both the Electoral College and the popular vote. You handed me both the Senate and the House. This is Trump going, I dare you.
Yeah.
Because you're going against what the American people have said they wanted in record numbers.
I think if you really look deeply into Trump's picks and everything from J.D. Vance, who was a Trump critic, he brought him aboard and said, this is exactly who I want. They don't think the same in a lot of ways. J.D. Vance is very anti-corporation, very working-class family. That's why he brought him in. When you look at Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., you see the diversity. When you look at a John Thune or a Mike Johnson, you go, not quite the Trump guys I would thought. There's a reason he's doing this. He's bringing the entire unity to this entire party. Matt Gaetz is just one of the people that's not part of that group. He's part of another group. He's bringing all different voices into this government, and they just happen to be voices that support the people and the ideas of the people.
Let's say that I rolled out of bed. I didn't follow any politics, but I had just some general guidelines as to how I operate.
Good morning, Chip.
And one of them would be, whatever Meghan McCain says, I go the opposite way.
Right.
And she was one of the first people. This is embarrassing. This is horrible with Matt Gaetz. All right. I know which way the wind's blowing for me.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything that you are against, I'm absolutely 100% for.
And something that we brought up earlier about people not supporting the nominees getting primaried, Tommy Tuberville said the same thing about Matt Gaetz. He's like, if you're a Senate Republican and you don't support Matt Gaetz, we're going to primary you.
Yeah.
Like, he's laid it out there. He's making no bones about it. And I love that about Tommy Tuberville. Man, I sure didn't like him when he was the Auburn coach.
Oh, no.
Because
Garbage.
Well, for me, I was fine with it. But I was never going to cheer for him because he was on the opposite team. But now that he's on my team, I love cheering for Tommy Tuberville.
But again, Tommy Tuberville has done common sense legislation and supported common sense legislation, especially when it came to our armed services. He wanted to make sure that our members are safe, and he wants to make sure this country is going in the right direction of being handed back over to the people instead of the bureaucrats on the other side. And that's what Matt Gaetz represents to Tommy Tuberville. He may not be the most popular guy in the House. That's fine. You don't want somebody who's popular. You want a Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why she's staying in Congress. She's not being a cabinet. She's not going to be a cabinet member because Trump knows I need her there. I need her to be that bulldog. Matt Gaetz, he is somebody who has been weaponized against, and all these BS ethics charges and human trafficking lies and all the other stuff. It's all nonsense. So why not put someone in who's ready to look and say, hey, he's a lawyer, by the way. So people who are like, he's not even a real lawyer. No, he's not a federal prosecutor. Good. Yeah, he is a real lawyer, a private lawyer, but whatever. This is a really, really good pick as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm going to be honest. Two of my favorite people when it comes to this is Ashley Moody in Florida, one of the best attorney generals in the nation. Perfect. The other one, Eric Schmidt out of Missouri. This guy now, he's a senator now, so I understand maybe why, but in reality, this guy has fought the Biden administration since day one, put together every big fight that was unconstitutional, whether it was student debt and all the others, and he won them all with the support of every other attorney general. That would have been a great pick by Trump.
But that was the disappointing factor when Schmidt took his name out of consideration a few days ago, because I immediately was like, he has taken on this administration head on. He's beaten them in federal court. He's the one who launched so much of the attacks when it came down to how do we get them out of our social media from influencing that. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Like, there's a handful that I'm like, any of these three, I'm completely on board with.
Now, look, if maybe Gaetz doesn't get confirmed, maybe Eric Schmidt will be like, okay, I doubt it. I think he's doing a great job as a senator. I think it's his strong suit right now. But boy, what I love him.
Yeah, terrific.
But Ashley Moody, that's the other one.
She's terrific.
Boy, has she done everything that needed to be done in Florida, and she also jumped aboard along with some of the others. Chris Carr is one of the ones who also jumped aboard. I'm not saying that. Look, I love Chris Carr. I think he's a great dude. I just don't think think he's ready for that role. I think he needs to be here in this state and working for this state. But I would love to see him, but I want Matt Gaetz.
The video that kept popping up that I could not quit watching and laughing at, and it was coming from both sides of the aisle. Some people laughing at it, like I was, and some people just melting down over it. It was Matt Gaetz. When the reporter said, "Did you say women attending abortion rallies are ugly?" Matt Gaetz with a straight face said, "Yes."
Yes.
Reporter.
That's the new right.
What do you say about those people who think these comments are offensive? Be offended. And then he turns around and walks off. It's so good.
So you know that very overweight animal, what's her name? I can't even remember her name. Olivia Giuliani or whatever, they had her come up. I mean, she ran for office. She's crazy. Crazy
Okay, I
as
think
can
I
be.
know. Yeah, let me look her up.
Oh, she made her statement. Matt Gaetz just made fun of me, calling me fat and all this. And, at that time, too, he was like, well, you are. Like, there's no
Olivia
denying
Julian.
it.
Okay,
Olivia
yeah.
Julian.
Yeah.
This is a woman who is, like, so upset. And these are the kind of people, like, I don't care. You know what? I'm sorry that you're ugly. I'm sorry that you're fat. I'm sorry that you're these things. It is what it is. If you can't handle it, this is what I love about the new right, Carlos. Don't sit back and play the games and get the virtue signal and get all emotional. No, just stay the course like Matt Gaetz.
You want from the teacher's lounge to tell me about all the things I'm supposed to be offended by. And so I've played a little bit of your game, but now that I'm putting it in your face, you then can't pretend suddenly that everything is so incredibly offensive. Because you've been offending me with the way that you believe this world should operate, where you can't even say, hey, there's two sexes, or here's what's going on around the world. Like there's aspects that I'm not going to play along with you anymore. I played your game for a little bit. Now I'm not going to do it anymore. That's just how it's going to be.
But we're still willing to play a little bit. Like, we're cool with some of the trans people. Like, we're not, like, they want to point it out that we're transphobic always. We're cool. We're cool. There are certain situations where we go, now we're not cool. You're talking about kids. You're dressing like an 8-year-old girl, and you're trying to get in front of 8-year-old girls.
I think it's all crazy.
You're creepy, and you're really scary. I mean, it's a different story.
Like, if I was to point out that for...
And you're a man.
A large amount of women who are telling me, oh, my God, I can't abort a baby. I'm gonna be raped. I'm like, let's be very honest. No one wants to rape you. All right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
okay.
Sure.
Because as Matt Gaetz is telling you, I'm sorry, no one's actually looking to do this to you.
Yeah.
And is that hard to hear, that you're an unattractive person?
Oh, look.
No one looks at you as a sexual being?
I would like to say, and the only reason, Tug, you weren't here on that Thursday, but Carlos and I were ahead of the 4B thing before anybody else in the nation. We started talking about it right away. And now I love how this is turning out, because all these women who have shaved their head, cancer patients, are saying, so we're not sexy because we don't have hair. So now they're going on it. And, it was really funny. I thought Glenn Beck yesterday, when I was listening to him, he goes, I want these women to know, like, number one, it is insulting to anybody who's gone through chemotherapy to say you're not sexy, and that's how you're not sexy anymore, to shave your head. We don't look at that. We look at your boobs and butt. And it was just so funny to hear Glenn Beck say something like that. Shave your head. I've never looked at your face anyway.
Oh, that's even more demeaning. All right. Take a listen to Matt Gaetz as he very plainly tells you how it is.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
I mean, I love it.
And then does a drop step and an about face.
See you later.
And adios, amigo.
That's so big gulps, huh?
Yeah.
Well, see you later.
See, but this is the
So
great
good.
part about really caring about what you do and not caring about whatever else. Not being afraid. Like, I'm not afraid to lose my job, number one, because I think we have great support with David Dickey, that if Carlos and I say something that some people might think are offended, they're going to stand up for us. And they're going to say, hey, don't be offended. You can't be offended. It's not a big deal. Get over it. And that's what we need to do. We need to reprogram any of these victims of the woke mind virus, because I feel bad sometimes for Democrats that they're so miserable, or they've allowed this to happen to themselves. But at the same time, I don't feel bad. So you're not going to come to me with your little virtue signal and say, hey, you're misgendering me. I'm a woman. I'm like, no, you're not, dude. You're a man. Enjoy your day. You look great to yourself, but nobody else. Go away. I don't care anymore.
4 years ago, I had a complaint email that management brought to my attention. And by the time I was done explaining that, I told that woman, because she has a large daughter, She was not impressed by the way I called into question Stacey Abrams' weight, and that maybe she should take some more personal responsibility in that regard. When she was all upset about it, and management asked me to explain myself, I said, well, so she's upset because she has a large daughter? Yeah, I was like, well, maybe she should take some more personal responsibility by feeding her better as a parent.
Yeah, done.
And that was the moment where they're like, you need to head over to X.
But you need to be down the hall.
She's big boned, Carlos.
So funny.
You don't know.
You don't understand.
Yeah,
My daughter has this. Well, then maybe you should take her diet more seriously.
She was born fat. No, she was overfed when she was a baby.
404-741-1230. Marty is on the line, wants to talk about the 4B movement. Marty, what's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, good morning, guys. I appreciate you being on the radio. I listen to you when there's nothing else better.
It's a weird backhanded compliment, Marty, but thank you.
That's awesome.
I only get one station, so I'm stuck with you guys. Thank you, Marty.
Welcome.
Hey, I just want to say to all the 4B women, thank you. Thank you for thinking of others and sacrificing and not procreating for the rest of us. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Absolutely, Marty.
Right.
Look, that was my first, when we talked about this the other day, this is the best benefit that we could ever get for women who should not be having children and don't want to have. You're literally making the abortion thing easy for us. You're taking personal responsibility by saying, you know what? I don't want to get pregnant in a world where I can't have an abortion, so I'm not going to have sex. Welcome to what we've been telling you.
Nice
How about some personal responsibility? Oh, and by the way, I don't care if you're bald. I'm still looking at your butt and boobs like Glenn Beck said.
I mean, come on. It's impossible. It's just hardwired. And you can't help it. Okay?
That's right.
The problem. Anyway, Bobby Kennedy Jr. already having an effect on the FDA, which is good news, because they're all clowns, and I don't trust them, and you shouldn't either. We'll talk about that next on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
It seems somebody done us all a favor by producing a list of all of the celebrities that promised they would leave America if Trump won. You want to hear it? I'll read fast. Adam Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Rob Reiner, Barbara Streisand, Cher, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Megan Rapinoe, Tom Hanks, Amy Schumer, AOC, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Bill Gates, Jane Fonda, Madonna, Mark Ruffalo, Kim Kardashian, Bruce Springsteen, George Clooney, Hunter Biden, Oprah, Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson, Miley Cyrus, Travis Kelce, Rashida Tlaib, Stormy Daniels, Anthony Fauci, George Soros, Eminem, Ellen DeGeneres, Sean Penn, Sharon Stone, Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee, Bryan Cranston, and Billy Joe Armstrong. Who dat?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
I don't know if you looked at the temperature or not outside. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but it is 47 freaking degrees outside. The only person that likes it is Board Up Goey Virgin River, because I hate it. I despise it. I don't like this time of year. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't because it's cold. If it were warmer, I wouldn't mind it as much. The equalizer in all this, hey, it's Tug, is getting your home to be as toasty warm when you walk in the door. You know, and you're shivering, and you walk in the door, and you're like, oh, welcome home. You do that with central heating and air conditioning. They are going to keep you warm all fall, all winter long. They can hook you up with a carrier system designed to keep you comfortable no matter what the temperature is outside. They use warming technology that'll refresh your home, and the temperature inside will be perfect. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 off a carrier system. $2,000 off to keep you warm all winter long. Carrier systems come with exceptional warranties for added peace of mind. And at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they pride themselves on better service through knowledge. Turn to your Atlanta carrier experts if you need that new carrier system, or if you have a different system, different brand, doesn't matter. They work on all of them. But if you need to replace it, they can. If you need it repaired, they can. And if you want it maintained through the year so it works and lasts as long as it possibly can, they can do that too. 770-GET-HEAT, or go to their website, centralheat.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Modular and offsite construction is booming. If you're an architect, building engineer, supplier, developer, or contractor, you can't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to the International Convention Center in Atlanta on November 20th. With the rising cost of traditional building, modular and offsite construction is changing the way companies build. It's quicker, cheaper, and offers a faster ROI. So don't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to Atlanta on November 20th. Register today at offsiteconstructionnetwork.com. That's offsiteconstructionnetwork.com.
Are you concerned about securing your family's future and assets? Look no further than Nelson Elder Care Law. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we offer absolute assurance and peace of mind through our comprehensive asset protection services. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to explore how we can safeguard your legacy and provide tailored solutions for your family's well-being.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I'm off the rails on the crazy train day. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, some of the things I'm saying don't make sense. I turn on the microphone in the middle of a commercial set to talk to Joey, and it just goes out of there like a nut job. If you heard that, my apologies. If you didn't, I'm pointing out my poop and probably shouldn't, but
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, thank you, Rhino. It's a very kind. That's what a friend would say.
Yeah,
you know, you just
sound great to me.
Yes, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Everything's fine.
You're professional.
That's what friends do, man. You look out for one another, and I love that. You are reading that new Glenn Beck book.
I am, yes. Propaganda Wars. So this is a very good book so far. I mean, I'm about a chapter in right now, so I'm excited about this. But, you know, it kind of talks about the common sense thought behind the propaganda and the Marxist ideas that people have put through this country and made people think, in the mind virus that a lot of these liberals suffer from, like the idea that math is racist when, you know, math was invented by different cultures putting sticks down and then counting them and picking them up, and that's how they found it out. But now all of a sudden it's a racist ideology.
So dumb.
But I think one of the great points he brings up in this book is, well, then if math is so racist and full of white supremacy and been taught by white supremacists, then wouldn't it be confusing for a black student to be sitting in a class in Oregon with a white male teacher and blue hair telling him about math? Wouldn't you then question and say, wait, how do I know you're not a white supremacist?
That's right.
So that's the reality of how this kind of this book is a great book talking about Marxism. So I'm excited.
I had heard him talking about it, you know, leading up to the book being released or whatever, and it wasn't until yesterday. I was listening to him on the way home. It wasn't until yesterday that I was like, I need to read this. I don't know what it was that just the discussion about it compelled me, but anyway. So I'm glad that, and so when you finish that, you can let me borrow it, and I'll keep it for about 9 months.
9 months, and then you'll come back with the chapter
Maybe
that
two.
you read, and
maybe
we'll talk
maybe two. I don't know why. Yes, that's just the way
it
I
is.
operate.
It's a really well written book and really
Beck's great,
brilliant. And one of the good things that Beck does in all his books, the one thing I love is that he has a huge research team. So it's not like he's just telling you what he thinks. He brings in all the receipts, kind of the way that Carlos does a lot of times.
I tried a Glenn book one time, a Glenn Beck book, and it didn't work out. It was on a beach weekend like 15, 20 years ago.
You just didn't enjoy it?
I tried to do Common Sense when he wrote it, rewrote Common Sense from 200 years ago, but for modern times. And I got maybe 3 chapters in and decided, all right, it's on to the next Glenn Beck book. But I won't let it sour me moving forward. I just know that one was...
my wife bought me a bunch of the Beck books in the early to mid 2000s, and I remember reading all of them, and I actually finished them. So
wow,
I've written all of the O'Reilly books. Like I used to be such a big Bill O'Reilly. I love Bill O'Reilly. I think it's great, and I had all his books and read them all. And she would always get them for like my birthday or something, and she would get them autographed.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, it's very
great.
sweet. Super sweet. She just thought, I was always intrigued by him and thought he was a smart guy. And
now,
so
did you feel like you had to read him at that point?
Maybe that could have been some of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have been. I don't know.
Yeah, look.
Couldn't say for sure. Who could say?
There are a lot of great conservative writers. Obviously, Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, 2 of them. But I like Mark Levine. I think his books are fantastic. I'll tell you, working with Clay Travis and doing that book signing with him, being able to read that book, it was a brilliantly written book. So, there's so many good ones out there.
No doubt. The FDA already being affected by the nomination of RFK Jr. How wonderful is that?
It's so great. So, as I'm sitting around yesterday, this is right before they announced that RFK Jr. would be in charge of the Health and Human Services. FDA employees are now figuring out, hey, we got to leave. We're quitting. He hasn't even been put in place. He's already cutting the bureaucracy of people that know that they're obviously going to be the ones on the cutting block. I mean, think about that. These people know what is right and wrong, because what has RFK Jr. talked about? Nothing but, hey, let's get common sense in here. We need to cut funding. This isn't being done right. This is dangerous. And these people are leaving. That almost screams guilt right there, no?
It does, because they know their backside is grass, as my daddy used to say.
Well, it's encouraging when they have made the point, this guy, he's so out of control, such a conspiracy theorist that I don't want to work here. Like, okay.
Good.
Okay.
So that's what we're hoping for.
Good.
We're
Good for
hoping
you.
you're going to pack up. That way it doesn't have to be this mass exodus when I fire 600 of you on day one, which he's already said he was going to do. I saw a great video. I don't know why wrestling is coming up so much today. I just heard that Cody Rhodes is going to be the guest picker for Georgia-Tennessee College Game Day tomorrow. So that's super cool, and I loved his daddy Dusty Rhodes and Mike and Dream. So that, and then I saw this video just a few minutes ago of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was him firing people at the WWE. Like he'd taken over or something. I don't know what the storyline was, but he sits down at the table and this guy's explaining to him what his job was, and he was like, I don't give a damn. You're fired. And he went to the next guy, and same thing.
You're
fired. He was just firing them all, right?
Yeah.
And that's what, and they likened it to. This is what RFK's going to do when he walks in and just starts taking names and packing bags and sending people on their way.
I'm sure there's going to be some turnover, but you're not going to turn over the entire thing. What you're going to do is restructure the FDA to actually put approvals out. Remember, one of the biggest concerns, Carlos, was that we were taking a vaccine that had no listed side effects when every other drug that's been approved by the FDA listed side effects. When you found out what was in it, ingredient list, you got them all the time from the FDA, but why not the COVID vaccine? So these are some things that I think he's going to bring in right away, and any of those people who are involved in that, they should be scared that, hey, their job is on the line.
I think the number ends up being 20 or 25% of the drugs that make their way across the desk of the FDA end up being pulled because they end up being dangerous. It's like, well, wait a minute. So how did you get approval to start with? It's because the drug manufacturing industry has bought and paid for these people for the longest amount of time, where they are not asking for permission. They ask for forgiveness. And these companies who have paid the largest amount of fines that the federal government has ever fined companies, when you look at the billions they've had to pay out with some of the issues that have gone on, they're just sitting back and saying, hey, we made our money. Yeah, okay, guess what? We made $5 billion on that. Yes, we killed some people and maimed some people, but so fine, we'll pay the $1 billion fine.
It's just an operating cost.
That's all it is.
That's all it is for them. It's the same things happening in Dalton, Georgia, with all the carpet companies that have poisoned the water for 100 years up there. That is nothing more. Those fines are nothing more than a line item to them. They don't give a hot damn.
But one of the things I love, too, about what they've been talking about is, along with what Carlos was saying about the way that these drug companies actually pay. I mean, it's like the FDA are lobbyists to get their things passed. They've been doing it in the trans ideology with kids. They are doing it through the American Psychological Association, and they're paying for kids to be able to say, hey, yes, I have gender dysphoria. And they are eliminating any of those that have autogynephilia, all listed in the DSM, that actually just get aroused when they dress in women's clothes, and then group them as trans and make them go, or allow them to go in bathrooms that, should be for girls. These are all things where when you trace that money, you're going to be really nervous, and that's what they're afraid of.
Last 12 years, you've had over 15,000 drugs that have been recalled from the marketplace. So you wonder, wait a minute, how did 15,000 drugs manage to make it to the marketplace? Well, because the entire system is broken, and that is why you have an outsider coming in to run this thing.
They regulate themselves. What could go wrong with regulating themselves? Like, nobody else is involved. It's just them going, yeah, everything's good. We like it. Send it through. And then you have all the recalls that Lowe's just talked about, and Rhino too. All right, when we come back after a Fox News update, the Democrats are ready to give every available dollar that they can get their hands on to the lost Ukrainian war next on Xtra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
If I had a wish for you, I would wish that you had a friend like Bernie Marcus, the founder of Home Depot, who passed away. What he did for Atlanta and Georgia is unmeasurable. A great man. I'll miss him dearly. So will the entire state.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
You know what makes every diamond unique and special are his 4 C's. It's cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. But do you know what makes Diamonds Direct special and unique? It's our own 4 C's. The first C, concept. Diamonds Direct has revolutionized jewelry shopping by eliminating middleman markups and giving you direct access to the world's finest diamonds straight from the diamond cutters. The second C, choice. Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection of precious diamonds is unparalleled. And with over 4,000 designer settings to choose from, you are empowered to make a decision that works for your style and taste. Third C, confidence. With a nationwide price guarantee, a free lifetime warranty, our unique 110% diamond upgrade policy, and our no pressure, no risk environment, you have total peace of mind. And the fourth C, community. Every year we partner with local charities and nonprofits with significant donations of time, money, and jewelry to make this a better place for everyone. Diamonds Direct, as unique, as special, and as rare as every diamond in our showcase. Proud to call ATL home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, it's Mike with Atlanta Painting Company. And this fall, we invite you to transform your home. Our expert team brings color to life with top quality paints and flawless finishes, and leading the industry with our color consultants. Whether it's a fresh coat of paint for one room or an entire exterior makeover, the Atlanta Painting Company has you covered. So, trust the local pros for reliable, professional service when you need to revive your home or business. Find us at atlantapaintingcompany.com or call us at 1-800-PAINTING. That's atlantapaintingcompany.com. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
As the media outrage over Matt Gaetz as Attorney General continues to grow, RFK Jr. has been named Secretary of Health and Human Services under a deal with President-elect Trump. He offered the same deal to Kamala Harris. Now, even leaving aside the sexting scandal that cost Olivia Nuzzi her job at New York Magazine, RFK has many unorthodox ideas, and some of them are frankly crackpot ideas, such as taking fluoride out of water systems, a 60-year-old innovation that has greatly improved public health. He also believes that Wi-Fi can cause cancer. He also believes that vaccines can cause autism. And he wants to eliminate or greatly change the units of the FDA, of the NIH. I didn't think he would be given this much power, maybe a White House job, but now he's got the big one. With your Media Minute, Howie Kurtz, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
A great mind. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President-elect Trump complimenting and congratulating his Health and Human Services Secretary nominee, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Kennedy has long been a skeptic of pharmaceutical companies and vaccines. He's also demanded tougher regulations for processed foods. In a statement, the president-elect says for too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation. Kennedy will need to win Senate confirmation and will face questions about plans to reform the FDA and other public health agencies.
Fox's Jared Halpern, the president-elect, says he's chosen as his Interior Secretary nominee, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs, and one of his criminal defense attorneys, Todd Blanche, as Deputy Attorney General. Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz is trying to rally senators' support for confirmation, and it's unclear whether a House Ethics Committee report on him will be made public now that he's resigned as Florida congressman.
Fox News learning through multiple sources that former Congressman Matt Gaetz has been making calls to those who will decide if he can serve in the Trump administration. Gaetz has been tapped by President-elect Trump to be Attorney General. One source says Gaetz has been talking to a lot of senators. Several Republicans have expressed concern with Gaetz's nomination, while those who support the pick say he can bring about reforms to the Department of Justice. President-elect Trump has floated the idea of using a recess appointment to get some of his nominees confirmed without Senate approval. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Biden is among world leaders representing 21 countries at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum today in Lima, Peru. He meets today with the leaders of Peru, Japan, and South Korea. China's President Xi tomorrow. The G20 summit's next in Brazil. America's listening to Fox News.
I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're thinking about what gift to get the firearms enthusiast that may be on your list this year, I highly recommend. I love this company. The rifles, the shotguns, the revolvers made right here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they've got 200 models to choose from, a wide variety of calibers and styles and prices, and you cannot go wrong with any of them. They're a great company. The easiest way to check out Henry's Firearms is to get a copy of their free holiday gift guide. Just go to their website. It's henryusa.com. Click on the catalog button in the top right-hand corner. They will mail the gift guide and a few decals, and it won't cost you a penny. So if you want to put something made in America under your Christmas tree, make sure you order the free gift guide and get free decals from Henry USA today. That's henryusa.com for a free gift guide and decals. henryusa.com. You're going to love this company. I love this company.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug Rhino and Lowe's on the Morning Extra. Download the Extra 106.3 app so you can listen live and on demand. Buddy, I got to tell you, Mississippi Queen is where it's at today. This just fits my mood after I've had this 0FG.
I give you a Friday hot take.
Yeah.
If you're defeated by Sniffles, do you really deserve the land to start with?
I mean,
so you ponder that one out. Just something to simmer on as you go through your whole day and you think to yourself, man, I got coughed on and now we're all gone.
Oh, that's it. So
yeah, so I'm like, but where? I guess just where did this come from? Like, what got you?
You made me go look at these New Zealanders and them going crazy.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yes, New Zealand, like Parliament or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it comes down to like every comment off of that turns into like the invaders versus the colonists. And the world is run by whoever can conquer. That's it. That's all.
And it's the way it's always been. It's not like that's ever changed or ever will change.
It's just what it is. And so I'm just saying that if you can get beat by a cough, well,
it
sucks.
Yeah,
but it's what it is.
But I bet after you're defeated by that,
you're to a cough.
Well, it's the truth.
I'm just saying if you go to the market and I sneeze on you, and then you and all your friends are gone. Well,
you probably had a weak immune system.
Yeah. What if I gave you a blanket, though?
See, now that's always been a hypothetical. That's never actually been proven that the American Indian, the American indigenous people, they were given smallpox blankets. That's always been just the It's just that when you're not exposed to certain things, like me, why do I not really get sick very often? Like everybody's sick in my house. It's because I don't wash my hands after I use the restroom. I'm pretty much swimming in raw sewage on a regular basis, and
But your
my
immune
system is good to go all the time.
I do wash my hands. But I don't.
And that's why you're so sickly.
But I'm never sick. That's the thing.
That's why, like, every single Christmas, we have to, give you, well wishes and stuff because you're just all laid up in bed.
I'm never sick.
My immune system has been built by sharing other people's beer cans with them and taking swigs, smoking cigarettes out of ashtrays or out off the ground, and not washing my hands.
That man goes, you're down to one last Zin?
Yeah.
You want to share it?
Share it.
Sure. That's the thing, though, but I am not afraid of germs by any means or stretching that. I understand that germs are good for your immune system, right? So that I'm with it. It doesn't bother me. You do whatever you want to do and spread as many germs as you can.
Why
it's
am
good
I
for us.
so bothered by the people that are constantly spraying their hands? Now, this goes well beyond COVID.
Never do that.
But this used to be as soon as somebody would be done with, let's say, an athletic event.
Yeah.
And their first thing is they'd run over to their parents would spray their hands with disinfectant.
So dumb.
I don't know why that bothered me.
It drives me nuts,
because it's irritating.
It is.
And it's like the people, have you seen these people? Because I still see them once in a while at the gas station that will have latex gloves.
Yeah.
Or they'll take a Kroger bag and
put
they'll
it on
pick
their hand.
or
put it,
just pick up the gas pump thing,
like live a little, baby, come on.
Yes, man, don't be so afraid.
I don't have a 5-second rule. If there's a sandwich sitting on the ground and I'm walking by, I don't care how long it's been there. If it looks good enough, it's going in my mouth.
I don't really have a time limit rule either.
And I blow on.
Dude,
it's fine.
If I drop a piece of my breakfast sandwich, I'm getting it.
If you drop a piece of your breakfast sandwich, I'm getting it.
I mean, consider it. When for instance, when DOG sees a piece of ham hit the floor, doesn't matter how long that ham hit the floor for.
No.
Like
Or
the
how old
dog
the
is
ham
going
is.
after it. Same thing with my dog.
Yeah.
Anything falls out of a sandwich, that dog is like, Christmas.
Right.
And the same rules.
DOG drinks out of the pond. He comes upstairs and licks my sandwich, and I continue to eat while he licks my face. It is what it is.
I'm not afraid of germs. I am.
But I don't get sick.
I'm the same way.
So I'm just saying, if you get defeated by a cough,
it's your fault.
It's just, listen, they had some coughs.
They're actually helping you because eventually your immune system's
trying
going
to strengthen you up a little bit.
All we're doing. That's all we're doing.
I'm just watching these New Zealanders going crazy with their eyes. And
was that what it was about? Because I still don't know to this moment. Is that what it was about?
It was some protest. They were having a protest vote on the treatment of their indigenous people to New Zealand.
Okay.
And so that is why they went into their chant. But when you watch it, it looks like pure insanity.
It is.
But kind of cool.
From yesterday. It was a staged event, but it was a cool staged event.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our coworker down the hall, former Atlanta Falcon, Brian Finneran, he was like, first thing this morning, it's like, I don't know, about 5:15 or something. He's like, you see what happened in New Zealand? You know, he was like, this is amazing. He was like, what is this?
Took you around the world, didn't he?
I love the fact that Brian's so dialed in, but he doesn't get to talk about it much.
Not at all. He comes over here.
If any of the three of us
it's almost like a pressure valve.
Yeah, it is.
Like he walks out of there where he's tired of talking about, how many carries Bijan Robinson got with the Atlanta Falcons. He walks in our door and he's like, can you believe what is going through Congress right now?
Right. We're like, hey, this is what we have this couch for. Lay down, tell us all your issues, and we'll walk you through it and tell you the truth.
Or get on the microphone.
The other funny one, and this person, if you ever listen to Georgia radio broadcasts, you'll hear them talk about Road Dogg. That is Adam Gillespie. He's there for every single broadcast that they do. Doesn't matter where it is, where in the country, Road Dogg is the engineer. That's what he does. And so he works down the hall. He comes out and he goes, well, now that you won an election, you don't have anything to do. And I said, do not mistake my inaction for inaction, sir. The revolution is a communist revolution. It never stops. The only way we end it is by inaction. It's by making sure that we slam the brakes on all the stuff we're doing. So just because I'm sitting here comfortable right now, do not mistake this for me putting down the shield.
It's so funny because Joey actually said that this morning. I heard Road Dogg say the same thing to board up Goey Virgin River, and Joe's like, well, we got to stop communism. I mean, that's always an issue.
Good for you, Joe.
Good job, Joe. You're learning.
I think he was being facetious. However,
it was tongue-in-cheek because I knew that's what y'all would say.
Now he's just doing a weird impression. He's like, what would the moron say?
That's right. Those fools that I work with. That's right. Absolutely. Hey, quickly,
don't you ding me for that.
Did y'all see Sly Stallone?
Yes.
Holy cow, he was great, man. All of the old school superheroes love some Donald Trump, and it's amazing.
It's like my whole childhood. Like,
yes,
these are all the action figures, like Rambo and Rocky, and oh man, I love it. Except for Arnold.
Yeah,
Arnold's the only one. But you're gonna look. He's a Maria Shriver kind of dude. So whatever.
He ain't from around here.
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. The Democrats in their, in the, what would you call it, the sunset of their power in D.C., they are going to feed every dollar that is available that they can get their hands on to this failed Ukraine war, Anthony Blinken says.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Every dollar
at our disposal.
Everything for you homeless vets, we're going to get rid of that. Everything for all the people that live in this country to protect the sovereignty of this country, we're going to give them every dollar. We're going to pay Joe Biden's ransom as he goes out the door.
I'm sure that meeting between Joe Biden and Donald Trump this week, they talked about their policies in the Middle East, and I'm sure Ukraine came up. And I'm fairly certain that then you had, 12 hours later? Yeah, we got to spend every dollar in Ukraine because we got until January 20th, and that's going to be it.
He's pulling up the emergency brake, no doubt about it. But how bizarre is it knowing that this is a lost war, and you're seeing it across Europe? You're seeing the Europeans, not out loud, and the EU is the exact same way. These people were behind the scenes going, oh, my God. This is a lost cause.
Yeah.
Now, they're not willing to say it out loud because they want to still fund it as much as they are. I mean, we've been funding it all, but the small amounts that they contribute, they're like, well, we got to continue contributing out loud. Quietly, they're going, this is over.
They've been really quiet about what's been happening in Ukraine. I mean, you have to actually dig into websites. You have to actually dig into the BBC and other areas to find out what's been happening day by day. They keep that from us for good reason. When Ukraine, who has gotten more and more brave, and I say that only because they've got more and more money and defense for us here, the taxpayer, they launched drones into Moscow. And there are plenty of innocent civilians that were killed during this, but of course we're not going to hear about that. But what does this do? As they continue to dump money, that creates a forever war. That creates the hope that, look, they got into Ukraine with these drones. Where'd they get the drones from? Shh, quiet. They're working hard. They're able to defeat this evil leader in Putin. They're not going to defeat the evil leader in Putin. It's going to take diplomacy. It's going to take Donald Trump and everybody else to say, shut up, stop it. We're going to come up with a deal, and this has to end. Because the more we put money into it, the more people die.
And they're so angry. And you can tell that by what Blinken is saying. They're so angry that Donald Trump said, I'm going to end this. Because think about the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians that have died, and Russians too. And neither are good. So let's make sure that everybody knows Russia's not good, Ukraine's not good. It is two bads fighting each other. So the fact that we've chosen one of the bads to back makes no sense to me. Both of them are bad. But Donald Trump has said, we will end this because we are depleting our own military and our own resources to defend ourselves if the need comes, which makes no sense whatsoever. Why in the world would you give so much that you couldn't even defend your own homeland? Our own military is saying, we're running out of artillery. We're running out of equipment to defend America because we're shipping it off.
And if you don't believe the actual men and women on the ground, well, believe Joe Biden when he told you almost 2 years ago, we're out of artillery. We don't have enough to supply. We can't build it. That's why they continue to really fund the military-industrial complex. Democrats are extremely scared. And I'll tell you how I know this, because they're afraid that Donald Trump is actually going to do what he said, which is end both of these wars. Think about how upset they got yesterday. I'm sure both of you saw this, where Elon Musk sat in a meeting and talked to the UN representatives for Iran about de-escalation between Israel and Iran. What did Democrats do? Oh my God, he's not even in place. It's illegal for a citizen to talk to another leader about foreign intelligence. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on one second. You've been demanding for a ceasefire here. Here's a man who is going and using what he can to say it. You had no problem with Sean Penn going and hanging out with Zelensky trying to stop that. You had no problem with celebrities flying into Kiev every day. But when a man is actually making way and saying, hey, diplomacy, not money, we're going to talk to them and say, hey, we're going to shut you down.
We're going to get everything right for so long that it's going to come down to the crazy leftist loonies are going to be criticizing the most ridiculous level of stuff. Look at all this inflation going away. This must be bad for the economy. It's like you're going to see so many of these arguments that they have been having, and you recognize that they have been the beneficiaries of this. It's like if I was to go over to your coffee, Rhino, knock it over on your computer, and then go, Rhino, why'd you bring that coffee over here? I was like, they've caused the problem, and then they complain about the problem as if they didn't cause the problem.
Oh, my God. These people are... they make you want to slam your head against the wall because they make no sense with anything they say. And now the folks in Europe are saying, well, if we don't continue to fund this war, we're rewarding Vladimir Putin for invading. What? If everybody there is dying, they don't have enough men to fight this war without Western boots on the ground. That ain't anybody's fault but their own.
You can't win. So here's the point has always been. If you can't win, you find a peace, and if that means you lose territory, then you lost some territory, baby, but you still got a country.
Same way with Obama with Crimea.
This is how this works. This is how this goes. And the only people that you can blame outside of Putin is us. We're the ones who engineered this entire crisis, set up this entire scenario by which that the Russians went in there. That's not absolving them. It's saying we have a part in this. So just as I give you the coffee description, we help create the problem, then we complain about the problem while making money the whole time.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to this problem, but you can also do it without annexing land, because I think you can get that from Putin, because what does he really want? If people don't understand how big blowing up a natural gas pipeline, which is the main export of Russia, is, because it does flow through Ukraine. And cutting off that natural gas, of course, creates an opportunity for Russia to say, well, we're going to get this land back in order to build that pipeline back so that we can feed Europe the natural gas and, sell something. This is a big deal there. Same thing with the wheat exports. So you do have an opportunity to say, hey, maybe you don't have to give back the land, but you are going to cede some of this area so they can can run their pipelines through here to get it over to Germany and everywhere else it needs to be. There are certain ways that you can do this, and it needs to happen. But they're not going to tell you about what's really happening in that country. They're going to play the game that Putin is bad, and Trump and Putin are best friends, and they're trying to take over the world.
All right, consider that the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 1960s was about putting missiles 90 miles off the coast of the United States, and that almost created nuclear war in World War III. All right, that's how tense that was going on. Now, imagine if, let's say, Mexico turned into not just a narco-terrorist state, but let's just say they suddenly say they were suddenly run by, I don't know, some offshoot of Al-Qaeda. You'd say, that's on our border. We have a problem with this. All right. The Russians flat out told us for the better part of a decade, we don't want a NATO ally on our border.
Correct.
That was their stance. Do not have Ukraine become a NATO ally because we understand what your charter is. We don't want to have this condition where this could start a war. And what did we do? We just kept pushing NATO further over to them, and then we basically told them, hey, by the way, we're going to make Ukraine a NATO ally. Mm-hmm. Now, I give you the example of an al-Qaeda-run state because you would never deal with that. As much as you might think it's archaic for the Russians, their one condition was do not have a NATO ally on our border. We don't want to fight all of you.
I got to tell you, man, what's happening in Peru right now, if you're not paying attention to that, and the fact that the Chinese are building a military base in Peru, it's not called a military base, but that's what they're building. This is right along the same lines because it's not getting any press. Nobody's talking about it, but it's happening. And the Chinese are going to have a military installation in our backyard. So watch for that because this is going to be in the same line of conversation.
We also started this with Ukraine, too. And you're right. Yeah, it's absolutely. And Carlos brings up a good point. And then what happens is, you have leaders like Biden and others behind the scenes telling Zelensky, hey, we put you in power. Go ahead, move military equipment up to that border and really let Russia know they shouldn't come in here. And they escalated this fight, and they caused this fight by doing that because, again, that is the buffer zone between NATO nations, and it is also the buffer zone to where they can get energy and everything else sold. We've messed with that.
Yeah, this is not absolving the Russians. It's telling you so you have a full understanding. We were a big part of provoking the Russians. There was a deal on the table as late as 2016 that would have gotten rid of all of this potential warfare that's going on in that region, and we're the ones that killed it. We're the ones who said, no, our CIA is going to get involved, and we're going to make sure that we will put the people in place that we know will be adversarial to the Russians in that region.
And the CIA have boots on the ground. Make no mistake about it. The news at night will tell you, no, we don't have boots on the ground. We got CIA on the ground. We got special ops on the ground. I'm telling you, we have all kinds of people on the ground in Ukraine. When we continue, next on Xtra 106.3, John Thune is saying the right things. Now, let's see if his actions speak as loudly. Next on Xtra 106.3, headlines are coming up too.
So let's enjoy the liberal meltdown for a day or two. Might even watch The View. But can we all get together and try to put this country on a better path?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turfco to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turfco was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turfco to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but the cold air is coming fast. That means a couple different things to me and you. Energy bills will be rising and company coming over for the holidays. Dan Watkins here with all Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows. It's time to get your house ready for the winter air and your holiday visitors. The good news is that we have you covered for every opening in your home. So call us today to set up a free estimate with one of our amazing sales consultants. They'll help you pick out the perfect garage door, front door, and windows for your home.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Xtra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlantis Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth, or they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlantis Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantismiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantismiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantismiles.com.
Hey, Roswell. Looking for the perfect bite this football season? Head on over to Nucky's Hoagie's Roswell Corners, where every sandwich is crafted with love by us.
The Sub Sisters,
Stacy
and Shannon. Whether you're looking to cater a football tailgate party or grabbing lunch to go or dining in, we've got delicious Nucky's menu items for you. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagies, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, with the freshest ingredients that'll make your taste buds dance.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell Corners on Woodstock Road your new favorite sandwich spot.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to the Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, November 15th. President-elect Donald Trump has picked former U.S. Rep and friend of the show, Doug Collins, to join his cabinet as the head of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Collins, an Air Force veteran and chaplain in the U.S. Air Force Reserve, served a tour in Iraq where he ministered to young soldiers coping with the horrors of war. Collins wrote on X that he was honored to accept President Trump's nomination. A U.S. Department of Justice investigation found that Fulton County is violating the civil rights of the people housed at the county's jail by allowing abhorrent and unconstitutional conditions. The 97-page report detailed the conditions after 16 months of studying the county prison. In the report, the DOJ stated that if local officials do not address their concerns within 49 days, they could sue to force changes. And in sports, it's been almost 20 years since Mike Tyson has stepped into the ring to compete in a sanctioned fight. The 58-year-old former heavyweight champ will do so tonight when he takes on 28-year-old Jake Paul in Arlington, Texas. The 8-round heavyweight bout will be broadcast on Netflix beginning at 8 p.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 106.3.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Can I read y'all something? I just saw this meme. It's super funny.
Please do.
I like words.
Yes, it says. And this is the way the Democrats are in meltdown mode about all the appointments for Donald Trump. And this one says, we are 3 seconds away from the My Pillow guy becoming the Surgeon General.
I saw that yesterday.
So good.
1,
So
2,
good.
3.
Dude, when you're in
Congratulations,
full
Mike.
meltdown, you just have, it's
Oh,
funny
that's
in the way
great.
it goes. But when you're in full meltdown, that's the way you think.
What are we going to do next? Put a man in a dress as part of our, and make him a Navy admiral and
Surely
put
not.
him, no way, right?
Surely
Nothing
not.
crazy like that.
We actually had somebody who had a mental issue to the point where they were dressing up as a woman in official attire, and that was the person who was talking to you about your health. Meanwhile, like the 65-year-old dude who's all ripped up, we're like, we can't listen to this guy.
Can't listen to that guy.
Dude, doing pull-ups.
Right.
Like, good Lord, man. I'd be lucky to get, 2 in, and he's doing like 10, 15, 20 with no problem.
Oh, but Rachel Levine was qualified because, he's a psychologist. Yeah, let me tell you something.
Morgan.
He's crazy. He's crazy.
Nuts.
And just because you're crazy doesn't make you an expert in psychology. That would be like me being a nutrition expert because I eat more than everybody else.
If I was to tell you, years down the road when I'm sitting in an elementary school class and they're asking me about, the history of politics, and I was to say, so we had this one administration that they actually found cocaine at the White House because they were so wild. In fact, they would have people who were working in the Senate as interns who were having sex in areas just so they could say, look, we were having sex in here, man-on-man sex. Oh, by the way, then at one point, this administration decided, let's have a transsexual day, in which case a man with big old fake breasts is flashing people on the White House lawn. This was the administration.
Yes.
All right? These people were not serious.
Nobody would believe it.
Yeah,
if you didn't live through it, nobody would believe it.
One of their appointments was bald with a mustache and wore lipstick and wore dresses and stole other people's stuff from airports.
And that's how they got fired.
But that's the only one that got fired.
But these were non-serious people. And they're being shoved out the door as non-serious people are. So the fact that they're looking at Mike Lindell as, well, the My Pillow guy might be taking over this. It's still a business owner, business creator, somebody who's more serious than the group that was willing to have a transsexual flash the nation from the White House lawn.
And a guy that actually overcame a drug addiction to build a business that has been wildly successful.
Don't degrade this one person because you don't like their politics when you're busy showing up with cocaine in the White House, the most secure building in the world.
But to add to it, Rhino, pretend that you don't know where it came from in the most secure building on planet Earth.
Right.
The one that has more cameras, more security. We just can't narrow it down to figure out where that came from.
Yeah, they knew exactly where it came from. They were afraid it might ruin a campaign, though. So don't talk about it. Don't have it out there in any way whatsoever. And let's hide all that information because that's what they do. But yeah, this is exactly. I mean, history will go back, and our kids will think we're crazy when we start to tell them these things.
I think we're crazy.
If you looked at somebody with a beard, wearing makeup and a dress, and accidentally said, "Sir," they almost tried to arrest you for that when I was, this certain age. I mean, think about the stories we're going to tell. This is one of the most ridiculous times in history when we look at what the Biden-Harris administration gave us. They gave us absolutely nothing except for virtual signaling, chaos, and identity politics.
They created such a cult, all right, such a weird mental capacity where you had to process how you looked at the world, that we actually had a product that catered towards men, actually put a man dressed as a woman on a can and tried to sell it to them before the start of the NCAA basketball tournament. And they went, oh, it's a good idea.
It's great.
What do you think?
What do you think? Look. It's a dude. He's pretending to be a woman, though.
Yeah.
And he's on a beer can. It's like, yeah, we need some sanity back.
USA Today named a man the most significant woman in history
Woman of the Year.
and Woman of the Year, and took it away from everyone.
You can't make this up, man.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody wrote this down, if you said, I'm going to make a movie about this, what do you think? People are like, you're
crazy.
nuts.
That would never happen. It would never happen. They would not get upset about a man who served 3 tours, one in Guantanamo Bay, one in Iraq, Afghanistan, with 2 Bronze Stars, and say he's not experienced and it's an embarrassment, and then have a man walking around with a dog mask thinking he's a dog in that same area.
But he doesn't think it. He knows he's not a dog. That's the thing. Like, They know that they're not these things.
Do they now?
Yes.
Because I don't believe it anymore. You know why? Because the more I look into the way that these Marxists program people, I think these poor, pathetic people who cannot get through this, who are breaking down every single day, who don't think they can live in this country anymore as things get better and better and
Even
better.
Longoria.
Yeah, I think they really truly believe what they've been taught.
Maybe
the
you're
propaganda has worked so well on these weak-minded people.
They're definitely
that they truly believe that they're going to be locked up in camps, that gay men and women are going to be separated and thrown in internment camps or hung or whatever else they continue to say to create this fear. It is getting so delusional, it's scary, because you know what they're doing? They're making these people fear so much, they're going to start rioting before we know it. You think summer 2020 was bad?
Yeah.
Wait till this summer when everybody's out.
But when does all this start? Is it January 21st? All this stuff that they've said is going to happen? When does it all happen? Like,
I think they got.
I don't have a schedule.
I think they got their asses kicked so badly that they basically are in a situation now where they can't do this around the election. It's not going to work. They can't do this around inauguration. It's not going to work. They'll wait until they have something where they think they can get at least half the American people to get on board with it, and that's probably going to be mass deportations.
Yeah, it's going to happen either. Yeah, I agree with Carlos. Or whenever they're out of school. Whenever they don't have to, when they get to where they need to be and they don't have anything to do, those things happen over the summer where they can get the young people to energize and get them all excited when they don't have to go to school the next day. Most of these things we see happening are in between semesters, during Christmas breaks, during summer breaks.
Some of the, like a bunch of the protesting. Remember, because kids couldn't get to class.
That was because they hated Jews that time. But now they're gonna, I don't know.
They'll find a time to do it. I don't know when the ideal time is.
It's going to be the time where, and the news media, man, they're going to be so on top of this thing. They're going to be waiting for the first time that you have, especially like, for instance, these hotels in New York, when it's not hard to find these people. The first time they roll a paddy wagon in there and they decide, all right, everybody's got to go and we're clearing this thing out of here. That's when the news media will be like, look how unfair and unjust. It's like 1930s, 1940s Germany. Oh, they're putting them in rail cars. That's how they'll spin it, and they'll create the sort of energy where they will be able to protest, and it'll look legitimate at the time.
Sure it will.
But it's completely illegitimate.
Yeah. And any Democrats out there listening, I want you to go back and just do your studying real quick. Before you let this mentally just break you down, I want you to go back to 1996, look at Bill Clinton's border bill and how many people he deported under his presidency compared to what Donald Trump did his first 4 years. I then want you to go and follow that up and go to Barack Obama's presidency and see how many people he deported that were illegal. I want you to continue to do this because they were all criminals. I want you to go look at Hillary Clinton's speech about coming here illegally and being criminals and how you're going to get put in a car and put across the border. And she can't wait for it. Go do all that before you start breaking down what Trump and everybody else is doing.
You're going to find that Donald Trump deported less people than either of the Democrat presidents that came before him.
I challenge him to do better.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to break that record.
Well, I mean,
well, now you got the opportunity. There are a lot more here.
They broke it since January 2021, so now you got to fix it, right?
Challenge him to do better. Majority Leader John Thune, he is speaking, and actions speak louder than words. Mm-hmm. He is saying the right things.
Taking action via reconciliation to preserve the tax relief Republicans delivered for Americans during the first Trump administration. It's also time to check the bureaucratic machine here in Washington, D.C. A key element of making America prosperous again is taking a hatchet to the regulatory apparatus choking our economy, starting with the 1,000 Biden-Harris regulations that have already cost Americans nearly $2 trillion. And, of course, a major focus of both the Trump administration and the Republican Congress will be restoring American strength to promote peace at home and abroad. That includes restoring American energy dominance for the sake of both economic growth and our national security. Mr. President, yesterday my colleagues chose me to lead Republicans here in the Senate during the 119th Congress. I'm honored by the trust they've placed in me, and I will work every day here in the Senate to serve my colleagues and to advance President Trump's agenda.
All that sounds great. Now, when the rubber meets the road, I want to see the actions be as loud as the words. And I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I probably shouldn't be, but I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to give this dude the opportunity to do the right things. and to be the leader in the Senate that we need. Will he do that is a very different story. But again, when the actions speak as loud as the words, then I'll be okay with saying, okay, good for him. And if it's not, dude, I'm going to be against him and hope that they take him down.
The reason I give him the benefit of the doubt is just knowing his record and what he voted for, that everything that Donald Trump wants to get done right away is exactly what John Thune has also voted for in the past. So I'm happy about that. And I love that he talked about America first. I think this is a message that we really do need to get across. Instead of spending money abroad, let's take care of the American people. Let's take care of the people here. We know the tax cuts are going to help everybody in this country. It's not about certain groups. It will help everyone. They're looking forward to that. There are a lot of things right now when they need to break down the bureaucracy in this government, they're going to do, and I think John Thune's going to be behind it. I don't think he has a choice at this point.
The mandate would require it. The mandate that the American people have laid down for Donald Trump and his administration requires John Thune to do it. Because he, as a conservative. Yeah. So, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why air quote. You probably couldn't see it unless you're on YouTube. You see the
YouTube,
air quotes.
giant air quotes.
Yeah, right. But I do believe that even he is looking at what happened and this landslide victory, and you can't not acknowledge that and act on it.
Yeah, there is a pressure when the most popular figure in the Republican Party is Donald Trump. I mean, all the wins are at his back. You're going to, if you're a smart politician, understand that it's time to ride those wins for a little while. Now, how long does that last? 12 months, 16 months, you'll see how long. And then obviously, as a lame duck guy, within about 18 to 24 months, you'll see some of the party start to splinter away from him. But for the time being, the play is, what does he want to do with his agenda? Help him push his agenda.
It's as simple as that. And I want to see it. And we will hold his feet to the fire here.
I'm going to make you see it.
That's right.
I'm going to keep your eyes open.
That's right. We're going
to hold on to your face and
like
make you watch this. That's right.
Okay.
Rhino and I are going to hold you down and be like, you look at this.
Look at it.
Look at this filth. Look at this greatness.
I mean, I'm
greatness.
Doing that to Joe Virgin River. I like hold his eyes open. I'm like, look what you've done to this country. Look what you've done, Joe.
Joey, you and your Subaru.
Well, it's about my wife drives a Subaru. Let's not get crazy about Subarus.
She's going to leave you for that yoga teacher.
No!
Let me know when she starts unshaving her armpits.
Yeah, right.
And her will be very happy.
I know.
Together
What is her yoga teacher? I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm up against.
That's just so you know, if you ever offend, the lesbians in this world, there's only one way to fix it.
Right.
Buy a Subaru.
Let me just tell you, the yoga teacher's pronouns are Z-Zen.
Are you sure
Just
about
so you
that?
know.
Don't mix them up.
Right now, management ownership is cringing. They're like, we've got sponsors. I'm like, we won't make sure that gets over to them. No, they make a great vehicle.
No, absolutely, and we own one and have since.
And so does Joe.
And as a matter of fact, we bought ours at Subaru Gwinnett.
There you go.
There you go. That's a great
Me too.
That Outback's amazing. That's a great car, that Outback.
We got the Ascent, which is, I think it's the less Subaru of the Subaru.
Yeah.
It's the least lesbian.
And it's the truth. It's that's the joke. Close. You're laughing because it's true. That's the joke, is that it's the least lesbian of the car. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. When we continue.
They didn't give me a car.
They didn't give us one either. We bought one.
There's going to be somebody banging on this window here in about 1 hour.
Hell yeah, I'm talking about.
Just saying I had no part of that.
Rand Paul is going to blow the lid off the COVID cover-up. Next on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los in trouble till 10.
I have been treated to some pictures of Harris supporters crying. I have to be an evil dude because I find that so very entertaining.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
The end of the year is closing in, and with it, another tax year comes to an end. As you prepare to file your taxes, consider the efficiency of your tax strategy. Have you maximized your IRA and Roth contributions? Do you have an RMD strategy in place? Are you making moves now to maximize your future tax-free income? Not only is the year-end fast approaching, but the 2017 tax cuts sunset at the end of 2025, placing many Americans in a higher tax bracket. Don't just report your taxes, plan for them. Contact Master Plan Retirement Consultants now to create a retirement plan specifically designed for you. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation where we can illustrate your retirement outlook and create a plan together for your future. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies. Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Sonders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
As the year comes to a close, now is the perfect time to evaluate your estate plan to protect your hard-earned assets from the high tax rates. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to help you keep your assets secure for future generations. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid planning, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, we protect what matters most to you. Schedule a free legacy planning meeting today to discover how we can help families just like yours. Don't let the government decide how to spend your money. Contact us at 678-250-9355, 678-250-9355. or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com. Nelson Elder Care Law, your partner in asset protection.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Modular and offsite construction is booming. If you're an architect, building engineer, supplier, developer, or contractor, you can't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to the International Convention Center in Atlanta on November 20th. With the rising cost of traditional building, modular and offsite construction is changing the way companies build. It's quicker, cheaper, and offers a faster ROI. So don't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to Atlanta on November 20th. Register today at offsiteconstructionnetwork.com. That's offsiteconstructionnetwork.com.
Its technology is not just intelligent, it's thoughtful. Its cabin is not only spacious, but sensuous and stylish. It's indulgent, yet versatile. Meet the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 SUV. With its electrified performance, it can energize you with every drive. Experience the 2025 GLC 300 SUV and lease one for just $509 per month for 36 months with $44.63 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through October 31st, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Extra 106.3 is proud to continue on as the conservative voice of Atlanta.
We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country.
The Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neil Boyce, local and national decision makers are all keeping it straight on the road toward the new Trump administration. This is Extra 106.3 FM and streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app.
Which you should download as soon as you get a chance. It's the most convenient way to listen to Extra 106.3, and you can listen live and on demand. Senator Rand Paul, which we're all a fan of on this show, is taking over the chairmanship of the Homeland Security Committee starting January, after just being the top Republican on the panel. But he said, I chose to chair this committee over others because I believe that for the health of our republic, Congress must stand up once again for its constitutional role. And he said the committee's mission and oversight investigation is critical to Congress reasserting itself. And he thinks that they are on the cusp of uncovering what actually happened with COVID-19. I love the fact that he is the bulldog leading the charge and Dr. Fauci is in his crosshairs. The problem is I don't expect anything to really come of it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm cynical, and y'all can correct me if I am. But that's the way I feel. I'll start with you, Los, just because you have been so vocal about Nuremberg-style trials for COVID, which you're 100% right. I just there's that reluctance of me to totally buy in because there's too much of the crap in the federal government right now that's going to prevent it. Now, 2 years from now, we can see.
How much more do you need that subgrants from Fauci's NIH went to EcoHealth Alliance in order to basically build what ended up being COVID? All right, we offshored this. When Barack Obama had a problem with us doing this research in the home country, it was offshored to places like Ukraine and places like China, and it was still our own research, and we were funding all of it. The fact that there was a mistake that was made, and then Fauci tried to act like, I don't know what you're talking about with this gain-of-function research.
Who,
What
me?
do you mean? That's not the exact definition of gain-of-function research. We paid for it. We developed it. We're the ones who killed these people all around the world. Basically, your grandma ain't here because of Anthony Fauci and his cohorts. But no one's going to ever pay for this. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Rand Paul's like he's the last of the Mohicans on, we got to get this one guy who it all started from. And the problem is he's got so much protection in Washington, D.C. that nobody can get to him.
That's exactly right. And that is so, if there's anything that Rhino makes me, I don't know, sad, for lack of a better term, is that Los is 100% right. Yeah. Nothing is ever going to happen to Dr. Fauci. It doesn't matter that Donald Trump was elected. Doesn't matter that it was a landslide. Doesn't matter that Rand Paul is going to be the chair and he's going to go after Fauci. His insulation is so thick. Now, and that's why I said, like, maybe 2 years from now when we've flip-flopped this thing, hopefully, and we've ripped down the curtains and we've ripped down the protections and we've changed Washington just a little bit. 2 years from now, maybe there's an opportunity if Donald Trump is able to do what he wants to do. But I just don't know even then. Because Fauci, who knows where Fauci will be at that point?
Yeah, look, I hate to say that right now. I don't want it. I don't need it. I want Rand Paul and I want Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to make sure none of this craziness happens again, for sure. So I want to focus there. We need to fix this country first and do what we need to do to protect the sovereignty of this country. I want Fauci put in jail. I want us to recognize what they did to the American people, because I think truly part of that was locking these people in the home, seeing how they would act. And if they were going to be complacent in letting the government tell them what to do, then that was a bonus for the government at that time. So I do want to see it happen. But I agree it's not going to happen right now. Yeah, maybe 2 years down the road, if we win the midterms in a convincing way and even gain seats here and there and remove the filibuster possibility in the Senate we can actually get things done. But until then, I say focus on fixing this country. Let Rand Paul keep doing what he's doing. He's brilliant. He's super brilliant. Let him work with RFK Jr. too. We can find a way to take them down. I don't think they'll go after Fauci at all. I think they'll just be like, look, he's gone. He's retired. He's no worry anymore. No, it is a worry to me.
Well, Joseph Mengele got away with it too.
Yeah, sure did.
There's precedent for sure.
It's weird how when you don't punish that stuff, how it seems to just cycle back around.
Yeah,
sure does.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's just like when you're rearing your children, man, your two daughters and your son and my own son. When you didn't punish them as children, they grow up to be rebellious. They grow up to be out of control. And we're seeing a lot, man, because we stopped spanking kids, and now we have the result of it. And people will say, well, that's not the reason. I guarantee that's the start of it.
We have rules, not laws, against human experimentation. All right? So when everything rolled around in 2021, I still remember saying, if you can start by admitting that you've been part of an experimentation, that now you can start having the real questions about what has gone on. And the problem is people could not, for the life of them, wrap their head around that they were experimented on. Right. You were the study. You were the double-blind study. Who can we get to all go along with this stuff? In the same way that what Joseph Mengele was doing at Auschwitz and throughout Germany, human experimentation, now you'll look at it and say, oh my God, but look at the horrible things he was doing. Well, what do you think was happening here?
Yeah.
It just cycled back around.
Or in Ukraine.
We have rules. We don't have laws against it.
Yeah, the same thing. And that's why I think you need to go from the inside out. Remember, the National Institute of Health needs to be torn down, and that's what you're going to look for, number one, Doge to do, okay? So Rand Paul has already sent things to Doge and Elon Musk, which I think is brilliant, to talk about some of the things that they've done. In fact, he put up the Hamster Fight Club. I don't know if you guys saw that meme, Rand Paul. $3 million. The National Institute of Health spent over $3 million to watch hamsters fight while on steroids. These are the kind of things that you need to go inside out, tear it all apart, rip it, and make sure that they don't get funding again. Make sure an EcoHealth Alliance can't arise. A Dr. Fauci can't arise in an NIH where he gets to abuse it, use it, and get grants for it. That's where the importance comes between using Rand Paul, using RFK Jr., using Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to stop funding these ridiculous things.
That's what my hope is for Donald Trump, and I think that's where most Americans fall. Our hope is that they shrink the government and they actually pull it into line with the way the American people believe. And right now, it couldn't be further from that. I don't know that they can get it done in 2 years. Because this is like a generational problem. This has been building for 50, 60, 70 years. I don't know. I want to be optimistic, but I don't know that Donald Trump can get it done. And I'm not trying to poo-poo everything that's just happened. I just know what is in front of us, and I feel strongly about what is in front of us. And I just don't know that we have the time to get it done in the 2 years that we have all the levers of government.
Look, if anyone is going to get it done, it is going to be Donald Trump.
Sure. Absolutely.
But all he has to do is follow the Constitution, follow the way it's supposed to be done, and he can get it done if he gets the votes. Again, we need to get those establishment Republicans on board with fixing this country.
Like the conversation we had a little bit earlier about John Thune. Like he's saying the right things, but is he engaged? Does he really plan on implementing the Make America Great Again plan?
Give me 12 to 16 months.
You think you can get it done that quickly?
Well, you're going to start putting down the roots of everything that's going to have happen, but this is going to have to be a blitzkrieg.
No, that's right.
Appointments
Absolutely.
and executive orders and legislation that rolls through. Let's start with the tax code because we need to make sure we have market certainty moving forward.
Oh, that's correct.
Energy in those two things, and everything else will take root from there.
I love your optimism, man. I do, and I want to have that same optimism. So that's why it's good to hang out with you because that maybe
I'm here for you, America.
I know, and that's why you're lucky.
And to educate Joe.
You're lucky to have one front office list. One person who supports Trump hates Matt Gaetz so badly.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
I am passionate to the point of obsession about how the government takes money away from families in this country and spends it on asinine little projects around the world, like Russia. $700,000 to a laboratory in Russia to help them remove parts of the brains from cats to see if they can still walk on a treadmill. Or on a lesser scale, the idiot in this country who wrote a one-word poem and couldn't get it published in a literary magazine. So we got a government grant for $750 to pay to publish his one-word poem, Lighghght. There's a family in this country somewhere that could have used that $750 maybe to feed their kids, buy them some clothes for the winter. Now, I've tried to get legislation in Georgia passed to require every senator and representative to sign a statement on any spending bill that they sponsored, saying it was more important for the state of Georgia to have that money to spend on that bill than it was for the family that earned it to keep it. That bill got a new hearing, got no further. Maybe a new tactic now. Some national organization, maybe the American Taxpayers Union, create a pledge and see how many congressmen and senators they can get to sign it. Simple pledge that every time they vote for a spending bill, they are stating that, again, it is their belief that it's more important for the federal government to have this money and spend it in this manner than it is for the family that they seized that money from to have it and spend it on their own needs. Car insurance, new tires, shoes for the brats, food, rent. So damn tired of all of this spending and really no confidence that Trump's going to turn that boat around. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Mad Men. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Mad Men every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to understand our history. It goes back 60 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing, and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds only to high-end jewelers. Then eventually the wholesalers started selling direct to the public, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values are the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. Our warranties and guarantees are rock solid. And our people are laser focused on helping you find the diamond of your dreams. So as the story unfolds, as the revolution continues, we invite you to experience a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Born in excellence, rooted in determination, and thriving in passion. Diamonds Direct. Showroom hours, directions, and more online at diamondsdirect.com. Proud to call ATL home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Brilliant or dangerous? I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. There is mixed reaction to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. being chosen as President-elect Trump's nominee for Health and Human Services Secretary. There's plenty of support for some of his ideas, like making food healthier, but he will face questions from senators voting on his confirmation about things like vaccine skepticism and drug regulation.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination comes as no surprise. There were reports during the campaign that Kennedy could play a role in Trump's administration if he endorsed the former president, who is, of course, now the president-elect. President-elect Trump also picked former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins as Secretary of Veterans Affairs, his defense lawyer Todd Blanche as Deputy Attorney General, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum as Interior Secretary.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. The House Ethics Committee has canceled today's planned vote on whether to release its report on now former Congressman Matt Gaetz. The investigation is ended by his resignation from Congress after being announced as President-elect Trump's Attorney General nominee. Committee Democrats and some senators who vote on confirmation say they want the report released. The trial starts this morning in Athens, Georgia, for the man accused of Lake and Riley's murder.
Jose Ibarra, a Venezuelan national, has pled not guilty to multiple charges, opting for a bench trial set to begin today in the high-profile murder of Lake and Riley, the University of Georgia nursing student who was killed in February. Riley's murder was highlighted during now President-elect Donald Trump's 2024 campaign.
He was an illegal migrant, and he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
Ibarra reportedly crossed into the U.S. and Texas in 2022 and now faces life in prison if convicted. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The Israeli military launches more airstrikes on an area south of Beirut, Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah militants. U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon, Lisa Johnson, is involved in ceasefire talks. America's listening to Fox News.
I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're thinking about what gift to get the firearms enthusiast that may be on your list this year, I highly recommend. I love this company. The rifles, the shotguns, the revolvers made right here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they've got 200 models to choose from, a wide variety of calibers and styles and prices, and you cannot go wrong with any of them. They're a great company. The easiest way to check out Henry's Firearms is to get a copy of their free holiday gift guide. Just go to their website. It's henryusa.com. Click on the catalog button in the top right-hand corner. They will mail the gift guide and a few decals, and it won't cost you a penny. So if you want to put something made in America under your Christmas tree, make sure you order the free gift guide and get free decals from Henry USA today. That's henryusa.com for a free gift guide and decals. henryusa.com. You're going to love this company. I love this company.
Finally, there is conservative talk.